This Speed News on Hope TV. Thank you for joining us for the latest headlines at this hour. My name is Tony Omondi, and let's get started. Now, Education Cabinet Prof. George Magoha has apologized on behalf of the government for the Tuesday's impromptu closure of schools. Speaking after launching the newly built CBC classes at Umoja Secondary School in Eldoret, Uasin Gishu County, Magoha said the move to close schools was to ensure the electoral body IEBC prepares early for the general election. The short notice on school closure sparked outrage from parents and stakeholders from learning institutions who said that they were not prepared for the sudden closure. On Monday, Magoha ordered all schools to be closed by Tuesday, August 2nd, and that students will report back on 11th of this month after the election. The statement was contrary to his earlier statement on August 6th.
I know that people are very unhappy that the schools were closed abruptly. Let me apologize on behalf of government. But you see, the Electoral Commission must be given whatever they want, whenever they want, in order to be able to carry out a free, fair, and justifiable election. So the small pain that I have caused you, I take full responsibility because I'm the one who was supposed to say it. I think the swords you have sent on me are now enough. But it's also important that the Electoral Commission gets access to schools, and not to say that we did not give them enough time to prepare for the election. So as I take full responsibility, please try and understand that I love the children, and I would be the last person to put their life or anything at risk.
Moving on, a petition has been filed at the High Court seeking to block 13 politicians who include Kenya Kwanza presidential running mate Rigathi Gachagua from contesting next week's polls over integrity issues. The suit by several activists, led by Kenneth Njagi Njiru, Meshach Churchill Suba, and Beatrice Kamau, want the court to issue order barring Gachagua, UDA's Nairobi gubernatorial candidate Johnson Sakaja, Mohamud Ali Mohammed of Marsabit, Onesimus Mudhomi Njuki of Tharaka Nithi, Evans Kidero of Homa Bay, Ali Korane of Garissa, Dado Godana of Tana River, Anne Waiguru of Kirinyaga, and Aisha Jomo of Kilifi from contesting in the election. Others are MP aspirants John Waluke of Sirisia, Samuel Arama of Nakuru Town West, Oscar Sudi of Kapseret, and Okoth Obado of Migori. The petitioners want the court to determine whether Gachagua is fit and suitable to hold any public office in the wake of a recent ruling of the High Court directing him to forfeit 202 million shillings to the government over graft. They further want the IEBC and ESCC to file their report on their findings and determination to the court by Thursday. The activists further want the matter referred to the Chief Justice Martha Koome to appoint a 3-judge bench to hear and determine the suit. The Federation of Women Lawyers, FIDA, has launched an election observation center and an online portal during this electioneering period as it continues to champion for the rights of women and girls and ensuring they enjoy a free and fair election. In order to prevent sexual and gender-based violence during the election season, the Federation has also deployed over 100 election SGBV monitors across the country. Speaking during a media briefing, FIDA chairperson Nancy Ikenu called on politicians to adhere to electoral code of conduct and ensure peace prevails in the country.
As FIDA Kenya, we launched a Vote Adada campaign in 2021, which has provided a platform to advance the gender agenda. As a result, we trained over 350 female aspirants, including the youth and women living with disabilities, on the various forms of electoral cycle to ensure that they have the requisite capacity to advance greater participation in elective politics. Today, we are launching the physical and online observation center, which will provide psychosocial support, legal support, and other forms of support across the country. In addition to this, our toll-free line 0800-720 will be ready to take all calls. Number two, we have deployed the 100 monitors that I mentioned across the 47 counties who will report, map, and document incidents of SGBV perpetrated against our women aspirants, voters, and supporters. FIDA Kenya will be monitoring and issuing periodic statements on the issues that will be reported from the ground as part of the early warning and responses during these elections. Our trained pro bono lawyers and counselors will also be on standby to offer support. We are hoping, as an institution, that the elections will be peaceful and are set to undertake our collective mandate for the nation and people of Kenya.
Moving on, Coast Region Police Commander Titus Karuri has called on security agencies to stay vigilant during the August 9th polls. Speaking during a multi-sectoral election security committee meeting at provincial headquarters, the police regional boss said the security agents will be extra vigilant during and after election to curb any threats of political violence. He has cautioned politicians against sparking conflicts by inciting the electorate, saying they will be dealt with ruthlessly irrespective of their political status. Vita Deputy County Commissioner Ronald Miwawi, who co-chaired the meeting, assured Mombasa County residents of a conducive environment, saying the security apparatus will be on high alert to thwart any cropping insecurity incidents.
Tumejiandaa vilivyo, mashirika yote yamejiandaa vilivyo. Tumekuwa na mabaraza na mikutano ya hadhara kadha wa kadha. Wananchi wetu wameelimishwa vya kutosha jinsi ya kuweka amani, jinsi ya kupeana ripoti kwa vitengo vya kiusalama iwapo kutatokea jambo. Na pia kama serikali tumejiandaa vilivyo, vikosi vyetu vya kiusalama viko tayari, kila kituo kitalindwa vile inavyopasa, na tunahimiza watu wote wa jimbo hili ama eneo hili la Pwani kusikwe na wasiwasi wote, kusikwe na taharuki yoyote. Mtu asisafiri kwenda bara kwa sababu ya kwamba anahofia usalama wake.
Our officers have been sensitized to do what they are supposed to do, and everybody has taken his position, so that by Tuesday it will just be a normal day like any other. So there is nothing to worry about, as the DCC has said. We will be there together and we will make sure that this exercise ends peacefully.
Pia tuko na hotline tulipatia wananchi na officers wa polisi wapige toll free number. Tuko na toll free number 1559 kwamba unaweza piga bila kutumia pesa yako kutujulisha kama kuna shida yote na watu wa usalama. Na pia officers wenyewe vile tunaangalia maslahi yao tunawapatia hiyo namba pia kama wamedhulumiwa wenyewe.
Public Service Cabinet Secretary Professor Margaret Kobia says the government is scaling up intervention measures to mitigate drought situation in the country. Addressing the press after a consultative meeting between the government and development partners on drought situation, Kobia said 3 counties are currently in emergencies, 8 in crisis, 12 are already stressed, and 24 counties are yet to be assessed. She has underscored the need for enhanced coordination and the scaling up of more measures to address the needs of 4.1 million people in 23 arid and semi-arid counties facing acute food insecurity.
We're going to be able, with the help of the partners, to reach more than 500,000 people, nearly 100,000 families, as you said, Waziri, with cash assistance over the next 6 months. And this is fantastic, but it isn't enough. The crisis is outpacing us. If we lose the rains in October, that will already be a worse drought than anybody can remember in their lifetime. If we were to lose the rains next March, we would be in a cataclysm. So the time is now for us to step up our actions still further.
The weather outlook indicates that there will be generally depressed rainfall across all the arid and semi-arid counties during October to December 2022 rainfall season due to La Nina, hence the prospect of the fifth failed rain season. Consequently, the number of people in need of relief assistance could easily rise from 4.1 projected to 4.35 projected by December 2022. Our meeting today has underscored the urgent need to enhance coordination and the scaling up of more measures to address the need of the 4.1 million people in 23 arid and semi-arid counties who are facing acute food insecurity. I want to thank the stakeholders, including the development partners, for the continued support to mitigate the impact of drought as the government strives to strengthen the partnership and mobilize resources and the coordination of the national and the county levels. 89,000 families across 12 counties that are facing acute food insecurity. The targeted counties are Turkana, Samburu, Isiolo, Garissa, Tana River, Baringo, Mandera, Wajir, Kitui, Kilifi, Kwale, and Marsabit. The food assistance will be provided for the 6 months through the cash transfer and in kind, with the beneficiaries' families set to receive 6,500 Kenya shillings per month.
President Uhuru Kenyatta has met with Abagusi community leaders led by Interior Cabinet Secretary Dr. Fred Matiang'i, Kisii Governor James Ongwae, and Nyamira's Amos Nyaribo at Kisii State Lodge in Kisii County. The head of state and the Abagusi leaders discussed a wide range of subjects, among them the progress of government development projects, as well as the region's political choices in the next week's general election. Speaking to the leaders, President Kenyatta said he will continue working with them even beyond his tenure.
We have 65 specialist doctors in all areas of medical specialization through the guidance that you gave us under the healthcare program. We had only 16 doctors, now we have 175 doctors. We had only about 300 bed capacity in our main hospital here. We put up another one, 350. The other day, Mother Karua came in. We have a mother child now, an additional 350 beds for mothers and children.
Mimi tu leo mbele ya hao watu, because this is home. Your Excellency, is to say thank you. Asante sana. I may not have been the most deserving. I wasn't in any way special, but you trusted me and gave me a job, and it has been an experience of my life. And on this, I speak on behalf of many of our senior civil servants who have worked for you. I have had a front row seat in your administration and witnessed firsthand, and as I tell our people, even in our meetings, I know and I can speak to it accurately.
Imekuwa furaha yangu kufanya kazi pamoja nanyi. Na tumeweza kuyatimiza yale ambayo tumeweza kuyatimiza. Toka upande ya mabarabara, najua kutoka yale pahali tulianza mpaka pahali sasa tuaishia, tumeweza kuongeza karibu kilomita 200 kilometers ya barabara za lami katika kaunti hizi mbili. Tumeweza kuongeza idadi ya watu wale ambao wameunganishwa na stima.
Away from that, the Ministry of Tourism and Wildlife has launched a 1-month-long photo exhibition at the National Museums of Kenya aimed at raising awareness of Mount Kenya as a prime adventure tourism destination. The exhibition, dubbed Mount Kenya Photography Exhibition, will allow the public to interact and purchase amazing pictures of the incongruous Mount Kenya topography, as well as highlight adventures scaling the mountain's rough terrain. Cabinet Secretary for Tourism and Wildlife Najib Balala said there is a big potential for more visitors to tour iconic Mount Kenya, informing the need to continue harnessing resources to improve the visitor experience and to appeal to more adventure seekers and mountain climbers.
This is a new dawn for the Ministry of Tourism and Wildlife, efforts in giving greater impetus to our country's marketing strategies to position Kenya as a niche tourism destination, both regionally and internationally. Over the years, Kenya has been known for wildlife safari tourism, and we thank God for bestowing upon us attractive natural heritage that is the envy of the rest of the world. That said, there is cutthroat competition at the moment from other countries that boast of abundance of wildlife species. This therefore challenges us to think outside the box with a view of diversifying our tourism products. It's in line with this reality that my ministry, the Kenya Wildlife Service, and the Kenya Tourism Board mooted an adventure and mountain climbing as potential spheres to boost tourist numbers, cognizant of the demographic dynamics of modern tourists. In a nutshell, the potential that Mount Kenya has in position Kenya as an adventure destination is yet to be fully maximized.
With Visa and also the team that went to Mount Kenya, we partnered to make sure that we can really revamp the experience of climbers. So together, let's make a difference and let's follow the path that has been set by the team that went up there. So you can contribute in many ways. So really delighted today and to represent the CS and happy to be here and happy for Safaricom and M-Pesa to be represented in this noble cause, and we continue to be involved in many, in very different ways, and welcome everyone for your involvement.
Let's look at what is happening internationally. In DRC, members of different social movements and politicians have remembered the 36 people who died in the last few days during protests against the United Nations mission in the country, MONUSCO. The group has demanded justice to be applied in and outside Congo against those who killed the protesters. Meanwhile, the government is reassessing the presence of UN peacekeepers after the protests against the foes in the country. Demonstrations escalated after UN peacekeepers opened fire on civilians, killing 3 in Kasindi, an eastern border post with Uganda, earlier this week. And United States House of Representatives Speaker Nancy Pelosi has left Taiwan after pledging solidarity and hailing its democracy, leaving a trail of Chinese anger over her brief visit to the self-ruled island that Beijing claims as its own. China demonstrated its outrage over the highest-level U.S. visit to the island in 25 years, with a burst of military activity in surrounding waters, summoning the U.S. ambassador in Beijing and halting several agricultural imports from Taiwan. Pelosi on Tuesday arrived with a congressional delegation on her unannounced but closely watched visit, defying China's repeated warnings in what she said shows unwavering U.S. commitment to Taiwan's democracy. A longtime China critic, especially on human rights, Pelosi met with a former Tiananmen activist, a Hong Kong bookseller who had been detained by China, and a Taiwanese activist recently released by China. All right, and that's where we wrap it up for now at this hour. Many thanks for watching. I'll see you again next time. Much more in our subsequent bulletins. Have a good evening and do enjoy the rest of your viewing.